Good day, everyone. We're welcome to our second session of the class. In the previous class, we discussed what is programming. We also discussed what is a computer program, and we also tried to look into what programming language is. And we discussed about the real-life applications of programming. So today, we are going to look into Introduction to C++ programming language. The learning outcome by the end of this lesson or by the end of the section, I will expect us to be able to explain what C++ is. We should also know who developed the programming language C++, and we should also be able to understand why C++ is still widely used today, and we should also be able to mention the real-life applications of C++ programming language. What is C++? C++ is one of the world's most popular programming language. It is a general-purpose programming language used to create software, games, operating systems, and many other applications. So think of C++ as a language that allows women to communicate with computer. C++ was developed by Björn Strostrup in 1979 and released in 1985. A little history about this. C++ was developed by Björn Strostrup in 1979 at Bell Lab and officially released in 1985. So this C++ was created as an improvement to the C programming language because C programming language come before C++. So the improvement is adding object-oriented programming feature in C++, which differ from the one of C programming language. Why do we learn C++? We learn C++ because it's fast, powerful, and it is easy to learn with practice. So why do you think we are starting with C++ instead of another language? We are starting with C++ instead of another programming language because C++, it teaches you how programming really works. And once you master C++ programming language, learning programming like Python, Java, or C# become much easier for you. So C++, it is used for designing operating system, video games, banking software, desktop applications, robotics, and embedded system. Many modern programming languages were influenced by C++. Most of the programming language we see today, they are all influenced by C++ programming language. So when we have C++, how do we use C++? Before we can be able to use C++, we need a compiler. That is what we call compiler. So now we're going to discuss how we are going to install our compiler so that we start writing real-world programs to solve or resolve complex issue. So before writing C++ code, you need a compiler. So what is compiler? A compiler translates your C++ code into a language the computer understands. A compiler is a program that converts your code, your C++ code, into machine language. Computer does not understand alphabet. What computer understands is called binary digit, only 0 and 1. So this compiler will convert that code into machine language. Into what? Machine language, so that the computer can understand and execute what you input in your program. So without a compiler, your C++ program cannot run. We are going to recommend tools that we're going to use, that is the compiler. But before that, let's look at a real life example of a compiler. Imagine you speak English and your friend understands Chinese. Maybe you travel to China and you only understand English. So how will you communicate to that China person? In order for you to communicate with that China person, you need a translator. You need what? A translator. At least the compiler is like that translator that will be translating the language you speak to the Chinese man. And when the Chinese man also speak to you, the compiler will also translate the language to you in English. So it converts your C++ instruction into a language the computer understand, just like the way we explain. Recommended tools in Windows, like in the system, we have Visual Code, MinGW compiler, or we have code blocks, which include a compiler too. So I will recommend a software like Visual Code plus MinGW compiler. Their advantages is they are lightweight and they are very professional, and the application is free. You don't need to buy it online. You don't need to buy it online. But for these code blocks, the advantage is easy for beginner, and compiler already included in it. We don't need to install compiler. But you see, for the first one, after we download our Visual Code, we need MinGW compiler for it. So installation steps on how to install the compiler. First thing you need to do, you install your Visual Studio Code or code blocks after you download it from the internet. Then you install the C++ compiler, that is MinGW, if using VS Code. That is the first option. If you are using VS Code, you need to download the compiler. But if you are using code blocks, it has compiler already in it. You don't need to download compiler. Then the next thing you do after installation, you open the application. Then you create a new C++ file. That is what we call file extension. Without the file extension, there is no way you can run a C++ code on the compiler to have a result you want to have. We have what we call extension. Like if you want to listen to music, you need an MP3 extension. If it is video, it is MP4. Why if it is Microsoft Word, it is DOC, that is .doc. Why if it is Microsoft PowerPoint, you see it is PPT, so and so on and so forth. So that is it. After you save it with the extension for C programming language is .cpp. When you type the name, maybe the name of your program is my first program, then you write my first program.cpp, just as it is shown below, first program.cpp. So let me ask you a question. Can we run C++ code without a compiler? The answer is no. The answer is no, because without a compiler, there is no way we can be able to we can write a program, but the computer will not really understand what we are writing, because there is no translator. Where we said the compiler serves as what? A translator that will translate what we are inputting, or the information, the instruction we are giving the computer. Now we are going to write our first C++ program. We are going to write our first C++ program. The first thing you need to start with in writing a C++ program is this word #include less than sign iostream greater than sign. Then the next step is using namespace std column int main open bracket close bracket. We have one open parenthesis. That is where the main program is going to be written. So we have quotes less than, then we have hello world, less than, add ln, then column again, return 0, column, close parenthesis. So we are going to explain this one by one. This is our first program. Every programmer writes this program first. It is called the hello world program. Why hello world? Why hello world? Because it is the simplest program used to test whether your programming environment is working correctly. So you tell us the compiler is working. After we write this code and the compiler display hello world, that means it tell us the compiler is working and the code runs successful. So now I will expect us to be able to write this program on a compiler. After we type it on the program manually, we compile it, then we run it so that we can see what is going to display on the screen. So I will suggest we write this program on an online compiler. So I'll have an online compiler. There is one online compiler. It's very easy to use online. You don't need to download it on your phone. For people who doesn't have system, because I remember almost 70% of the class says they don't have system, they only have their phone. So you can go to your Google Chrome browser, you type onecompiler.com. Immediately after you type onecompiler.com, you should be able to write a program. So before then, let's go and write this program on onecompiler.com to see what result we are going to have. Alright, so this is the website that we call onecompiler.com. As you can see, this is it, onecompiler.com. Immediately you type onecompiler.com on your browser, any type of browser, be it maybe Google Chrome or Firefox, any type of browser you have on your device. When you type onecompiler.com, it will show you this interface. So the first interface, you see there is a hello world program already writing on it. So you can write as much as any type of program you have. One of the benefits of this onecompiler.com is that it has many features of programming languages. You can see it has more than 70 plus programming languages. You can see show 63 more. If you can add with this, you see it has more than 70 programming languages, or 60 or so. You see, you can also write web languages. You see all these are HTMLs, CSS, bootcamps, and others. Database also. You can also write a database program on this onecompiler.com. So this is one of the opportunity of onecompiler.com. So you don't need to be downloading different types of compilers for different types of language. Maybe, for example, now if we are doing Python, you can just switch to Python and you'll be able to write your program in Python. But for now, we are working on C++, which I can see that as default is already on C++. So in case if you open onecompiler.com and you see that is under probably Python or any other programming, so you just change it to C++ because we are doing C++ for now. So as I said earlier, whenever you open it, it will show you this hello world program. So by running the hello world program, you can see this is the output we have. You see how many seconds within 359 milliseconds. It's not even up to 1 second when this program executed and show us hello world. So let's try writing the code by ourselves, and we also run the code. Before then, let's refresh the browser so that this hello world will leave the console. So now, as we explained earlier, we said in every programming language you need to have this declaration, which is #include, then the IO stream. The IO stream. This is our declaration, that is the beginning of the program. This is the beginning of the program. After we type hash enclose declaration, that we are going to tell the compiler or the computer that okay, we are using uh namespace. We are using namespace, and the namespace we want to use is std. STD simply means this input output, that is the standard input output of the system. So after we write this, we tell the system or the program that we are using namespace. The next thing that we start the main functions, that is the main block for the program. So int main, then we have open curly braces, just the way I said earlier, that every program you want to write must be inside this curly brace. So we have the curly brace. After the curly brace, we tell the system to cut less than. What is the program we are trying to write? The program is hello world. Hello world will be inside column. Hello world. This is our program, and we put our what? Semicolon. So we should make sure that we are putting semicolon at the end of the programs we are writing. So we are going to tell the program, okay, after that, we want the program to close by doing what? To return 0. That is, after the program write hello world, then it should return 0. It should go back to the initial. So this is our program. Let's try and run it and see. You can see we have our hello world here. Our hello world is displaying. So let's take, for example, now we don't want to write hello world. Probably we want to write our name. Okay, let me see. My name is BM Creative. So let's try to run it. You can see it changed to what? My name is BM Creative. So this is how the program runs. I love programming. I love programming. This takes 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. So every program you write has the time it takes to execute. So within 2.5 seconds, this program, this system, that is when the system run the program for us. So let's change something. I love you guys. You see, it takes less than 1 second, 364 milliseconds. So you can see this is how to write what? Our program. If you observe now, the main program is inside the curly braces, and we have int main, where we include our declaration, that is the starting of the program, hash include iostream, then using namespace standard input output. This std means input output. You can see when I input the value in the int content, then I run the program, it gives me the output of what I ask. So that is it. This is how to run the program. So let's continue with the class. Explanation of the program. Now we need to understand what we are doing. Understanding the code, explain each line for us, what the lines mean. This first line, hash include iostream. This line tells the compiler to include input output stream library. If you look at our normal library that we know, you see when you enter a library that you want to pick a book, let's assume you are a science student, you will not go to the shelf of art class, you go to science student shelf, then you pick the book you want to carry. So this is how these IO streams work. It allows us to display our output and receive input. That is the work of this first line, that is hash include IO stream. So it allows us to display information on the screen. Using namespace std column allow us to use standard C++ command like cut. Using namespace, it's allow us to use standard C++ feature like cut and chain without writing the std every time. So you can see this std. So it's when we put this std, so we don't need to be putting std every time inside the code, because we have already tell the compiler, okay, we are using this namespace std. We are using the namespace std. So the compiler will understand that we are using this namespace std, so it will not be expecting us to be writing std again. So the next line is int main. The next line is int main. This int main is where the program starts executing. This is where the program starts executing. This is the main function. So every C++ program starts executing from the main function. So without main, the program will not run. Without the main, without this main, the program will not run. So you need to have your int main before the program will execute. So you need to have the int main before the program will execute. So every C++ program must have this int main, just like I said earlier. Then the next thing is this cut, less than hello world, then our semicolon. Is it column or semicolon? My bad. So what this line do, you see, there is a curly braces before the int main. There is what? A curly braces before the int main, something that looks like this. Before the int main, we have the opening one and we have the close one. So we write our code inside here. I think I did not include it here. So after this, the use of that curly braces, this curly braces is what? To mark the beginning of the main function. So after we put this int main, we need to have something like this. So when we have that curly braces, so we are telling the computer that this is the beginning of our what? The beginning of our program. So this code hello world, it display text on the screen. Is what? Displaying the text on the screen. It helps us to display text on the screen. So that is the message hello world. And after it display the text on the screen, we have the return zero value. The return zero value is telling the program, the operating system, that okay, Mr. Program, the program has finished. So return 0. What we mean by return 0 is returning back to what? The initial point. So after this return 0, that is where we have this close curly brace. That is where we have this close curly brace. So having this close curly brace is telling the program that this closing curly brace marks the end of the main function. It marks the end of the main function. So let me ask a question again. What happens if we remove the main? What happens if we remove this main function? What do we think will happen? What will happen is the program would not compile, because every C++ program need a starting point. So without a starting point, there is no way the program is going to run. So now we tell the computer the program finished successful by closing it with this curly brace. What is our expected output? Our expected output is what? Hello world. So if we are saying anything like another thing that we are not expecting, that means the program is not correct. We have some key terms uh, that we discussed in the previous class, and which I think it is the foundation, that is the fundamentals of the programming that we need to know. When you want to build a house, you need a good foundation. So programming means what? Writing instruction for a computer. A program is a collection of instruction. Programming language, a language used to communicate with computer. Compiler, compiler converts C++ code into machine code. C++, it is a general purpose programming language. And our expected output is what? Hello world. So congratulations, we have just written our first program, but I will need to ask some questions. What part of today's lesson did you enjoy the most? We are going to open the session so that everybody will give us his expression and tell us where he understand and where he or she did not understand. So, what part of today's lesson did you enjoy the most? And I would like to know what was difficult to understand in the lesson, and if someone can explain what compiler does in their own word, like in your own understanding, what do you think a compiler do, and why do we use this code? Why do we use this code word in the C++ program? Then, what will happen if we remove return 0? I asked question before. I say, what will happen if we remove main? And we said the program would not execute if we remove main. So if we remove return 0 now, what will happen? So I'm looking forward for you people to answer these questions. And if there is any difficulty of where you did not understand, please, I would like you to please speak out, ask question. Asking question is very important. When you ask question, that is when we are going to dive more into it so that we understand what we are doing. And one thing I want to tell each and one and every of us, including myself, is that every great programmer was once a beginner. So don't compare yourself with the experts. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday and who you are today. You practice a little by little every day, ask questions, and never give up. When you are doing this, your journey is going to become very swift, like very easy. And your journey of becoming a software developer will start with one line of a code, just like the way we write this hello world program. So I wish each and one every of us success in this class and the other sessions that are coming. Good day.